White House advisor Stephen Miller came out and said that the Trump administration is at least considering suspending the writ of habeas corpus. Now, for those of you who don't know what habeas corpus is, it is a fancy term that effectively means the ability to petition the court for somebody who has been incarcerated to prove why they're being held. You can't just throw somebody in jail forever and leave them there with no trial. You have to have proceedings. That's what we normally call due process. For example, you get arrested on a charge, you get arraigned usually by the next day. Maybe it's the following Monday if it's a weekend. There's a time limit that you have to at least see a judge to prove why they are holding you, and a judge has to set your bail or bond or determine if you're being released. All of that is part of habeas corpus. And if they suspend that, they can literally throw anybody in prison for an indefinite amount of time before they would have to see a judge if they ever get to see a judge again. They don't have to justify imprisonment. Now, it is true, we have used this tactic before. It has been done 4 times in American history. It was done during the Civil War, typically during the war itself, and in areas where the fighting was occurring. During Reconstruction, during times when there was a lot of unrest during Reconstruction, specifically in the South, but only in specific counties. It was used when we occupied the Philippines, when we had control over the Philippines at that point, and then after the bombing of Pearl Harbor in Hawaii, while they tried to get everything back under control on the islands and stuff as they were recovering from the bombing. But it was always temporary. Now, there's some question as to who has the authority to suspend it. Most scholars say it would be up to Congress. Even when Abraham Lincoln suspended it during the Civil War, Congress eventually agreed with him and passed a piece of legislation that he ended up signing. So if they try this, this is going to get challenged in courts. I believe a civil suit would allow this to be challenged. They can't just do it unilaterally. And this would probably ultimately end up before the Supreme Court. I do not see any courts, including this Supreme Court, siding with just unilaterally suspending it. But why do they think they can? Well, because it goes back to what they are saying about immigration, and that they keep saying, well, we're being invaded. So they're trying to use that as justification. But if they completely suspend it, anybody could be thrown in prison. But they're also wanting to use it for immigrants and migrants, so they can just throw them in prison, detain them, because they are tired of being told you must give these individuals due process and have court proceedings before all the deportations. So this is their workaround.